fuck me, I had an amazing day. I mean, and sales are just skyrocket, and I'm gonna, roll up in my Porsche next week.
Welcome back to Black Pop TV. We're in the presence of Denmark's most happening event planner. He's the man. He's going to introduce himself in a minute. So take it over.
Jeremy Solomon, hit about 32 years now, going way too fast. Major independent. We have this event company called Independent and Connected because that's what we are. Short is INC, as incorporated. Taking it all from day one, basically. I have French parents, so I spent the first year of my life in France. Belgium, actually, but don't tell anyone.
We won't.
But they're French. And then my mom kind of decided to back to Copenhagen, where she's been living as a kid, and then I've been living here ever since, basically. So 100% French, but Danish.
Denmark, for me, is quite a multicultural country.
Coming from London.
I'm saying that for the camera, guys. All right, no disrespect, Danish people, but we love you anyway, you know what I mean? But anyway, on that tone, right? Since I've arrived in Denmark, in Denmark, people, you don't know this, right? But in Denmark, they got this thing called Jente Law. Don't ask me what the fuck it means. It's something about, don't think yourself better than anybody else, yeah? What's your take on that?
Well, it's, if there's a saying, how are you? And then you'd say, I'm stille og rolig, nice and calm. So I'm not doing extremely well. I'm not suffering. But if you just keep it just below that, then they're gonna be okay. Good to hear. Hope you'll do better. But you can't say fuck me, I had an amazing day. I mean, and sales are just skyrocket, and I'm gonna roll up in my Porsche next week.
God, no way. You hear that? Yeah. So when you come to Denmark, guys, keep it cool. You know what I mean? Still be jiggy, but keep it down low, you know what I mean? What is this that I am hearing that you is the king of Denmark regarding events and all this thing? Tell us about that.
Well, they made a portrait that came out last week and it's called the Insider of Copenhagen Nightlife. And it just says, the Insider of Copenhagen Nightlife, everyone knows Jeremy, but who is he actually? So what's behind this guy who's always on the door, rejecting some, letting some in, and everyone seems to know his name, but not really who he is. And what really took a little interest, an angle in the story, rephrasing, one of the stories within the story is, when did I actually have my debut in Copenhagen nightlife? And this is a little atypical because I was 12 years old.
12 years old. Wow.
So, thing is, and my mom's gonna hate me for saying this.
Uh-oh, mommy.
She hated it in the article as well because she doesn't want to be portrayed as a woman who said, yeah, of course, go to a nightclub. So the deal was this. My mom was out of town. My uncle had friends working there, and then he just took me to a high school party where everyone was 16. Anyway, so we took one night, we went there. I was 12 years old, first time in a nightclub. And then following that, a couple of months later, I was allowed to kind of, from 9 to 11, they had these pre-comedy events. I was allowed to, I was put in the cloakroom. And then, I took the jackets, and then I had one New Year's Eve where they really needed someone, and I knew everyone there. So I was allowed to be in the cloakroom until 2 o'clock, until the rush kind of was over. And then I had one of the bouncers escort me home to my grandfather. And then, so that was, it was very,
So you started in the cloakroom then?
I started in the cloakroom.
In the cloakroom?
Yeah. I remember I think I fell in love with 90% of all the women passing through because
damn.
This high and you're kind of just in height, complete breast height. And they're, you're so cute. teenager. So, I'd blush every 2 times and, I'd fall in love every 3 times probably.
Girls, and how you're trying to juggle a relationship where you're working constantly, you're always on the move, you live a fast-paced life. How is it done?
How do you think your girlfriend would react if you have 10 to 20 girls texting you every week calling you baby? She needs to be very certain of herself, very confident. Otherwise, they'll never survive. Even though I'm not one to, use all the opportunities just laying there. But so you need to have one with a proper, baby nation.
Yeah. Jeremy, let me ask you this, right? One of the biggest problems that I see in the nightlife, right, is drugs. Do you know what I mean? Like all the big, I'm not talking about like the little marijuana, weed or, hashish or whatever. I'm talking like the crack, the cocaine, the heroin. Have you seen it evolve in Denmark? I mean, the usage.
Yeah, it kind of goes a little up and down, but in the scene I work in, the only thing that's kind of there is cocaine, but people, in my opinion, if I don't see it, then it's because you're mature enough to take it and handle it. So I really don't care what people do.
Yeah,
I'm not one to judge. No. I'm not a consumer in any way,
yeah.
But I'm not one to judge.
So tell us also, this place, give us a quick little information about where we are right now.
Well, we're in an event space with a ceiling dating back from Christian IV. They used to store cannons in here.
Cannons?
Proper cannons.
God.
Back in the days, yeah.
Damn.
So, and then after that, it was used to store paper rolls for the paper press, printing all the newspapers. And now we've turned it into an event space, and we're going to have some very interesting events out here.
What's next on the plate?
I have a big plate, and there's a lot of projects on there right now. Just to name a few, we have I'm helping quintessentially open in Copenhagen the Worldwide Concierge. We're opening a beach bar here this summer out in Hellerup by the water. We have this space, takes up a lot of time. I'm still spending a lot of time with the Sunday Club. We have all our events within Independent and Connected, and I think the next big move personally is taking the people we cater to within the events industry and focusing more on their travels abroad. So we kind of hook them up whenever they're abroad. We look after the hotel, the drivers, the clubs, the restaurants, everything. So that's the next, natural involvement of the INC.
Perfect. INC, y'all.
Party in the weekend. Ain't got no